Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before. Imagine tuning into real-time discussions, expert analyses, and fan interactions all at your fingertips. Each platform offers a unique experience, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. We're not just sharing stories, we're creating a community of passionate sports enthusiasts. Join us as we dive deep into the evolution of podcasting, where every episode is a chance to engage, debate, and celebrate the world of sports. This is where your voice matters and the game never stops. Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before, where sports passion meets podcasting brilliance. I'm Mike, the Bear fan, and alongside Bill, the Packer fan, and our buddy Ken Catalone, we're bringing you an incredible lineup of 38 diverse podcasters. Each one brings their unique flavor to the table, covering everything from game analysis to behind-the-scenes stories. Imagine diving deep into the minds of experts who live and breathe football, sharing insights that you won't find anywhere else.
Charles here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out Kneecap Body by Jeremy Campbell.
Good afternoon. It is Lions Talk with Smoke and Jeremy B. I have to address it now. Some Minnesota Viking fans, women specifically, were treated like absolute dog shit by Lions fans. And I know it doesn't reflect all of us, but it reflects upon all of us, if you know what I mean. The reports are out. I think it's disgusting. If you can't handle your alcohol, don't be that way. Don't get drunk. If you can't handle yourself in a decorum that's pleasing for those around you, threatening to hit a woman, tearing off pieces of her costume as one of the super fan women of the Vikings, body shaming and everything else. It's wrong. And I want to apologize to all of the Vikings fans who had to put up with that treatment and are dealing with the repercussions of what happened after. And I hope they have names and I hope they can report them, because just like the guy that did what he did to the Vikings coach and players, they won't be back as fans. And if you know of anybody who did it, please advise them on how to be a proper person. And that's all I'm going to say about it, because I'm not going to dwell upon the negative in that game. And that's the only negatives I've heard, is how those 3 women were treated, and it's disgusting. Well, you can say that we're in trouble. I don't think we're in trouble if either of them leave, but they can't leave before the season is done, and the postseason is part of this season. So they're here. And there has been no reports of anything else yet that he's accepted a job, because they can't accept a job in season. So you can say it might be in trouble, but watch. What usually happens is they talk to these guys. It sounds like something's going to happen. They hire somebody else before the Super Bowl is done. So it really depends on when we have an exit. Yes, You're absolutely right. There are idiots among every fan base, and it's absolute dog shit. You're right. I just wanted to make sure I'm one of the first ones as a Lions fan to apologize for it. And anybody that hasn't recognized that this has happened, it's bad. So let's get into the PFF. Our two top rated players did not have enough snaps to be considered the best, but that was Christian Mahogany at a 92.2 PFF grade for the 5 snaps he played while Zietler went off the edge of the field. Khalif Raymond, who only had 4 snaps played, 1 on offense and 3 on special teams, had an 83.6. It's only noticeable because you got to play 25 snaps for the grade to count as a game grade. So the top 5 with 25 snaps or more, of course, number 1 with 170 total yards and 4 touchdowns, it's Jahmyr Gibbs. Number 2 was Jared Goff at a 79.8. Number 3 was Amon-Ra St. Brown at 72.6. Number 4 was offensive tackle Penei Sewell, and right behind him was Taylor Decker. Bottom 5 offensive grade. It was Lions fans, Bill. That's why I apologize. And I'm disgusted by it. I was raised to not treat women that way at any time, whether I was drunk or sober or whatever. But the bottom 5 offensive grades. At 5 was Craig Reynolds at a 56.9. At 4, in the bottom 5 for yet 16 of 17 weeks this season, offensive guard Graham Glasgow. Tight end Shane Zylstra. Wide receiver Tim Patrick, which I don't get that because he really wasn't targeted a lot. But offensive tackle Dan Skipper. Now our top rated defensive guys. And you're going to love this. Pensman Sports, hello. Top 5 on defense. Number 1 is your team captain with the green dot now calling the plays. Jack Campbell, 84.8. Number 2 was Levi Onwuzurike with the 83.2. Number 3, Legion of Whom member for his 8th week in a row, El Kadim Muhammad at an 81.2. Kirby Joseph, 79.1. And Terrion Arnold in 5th place at 74.1. In other words, our best rated cornerback was Terrion Arnold. And yes, it is confirmed he will be back for the divisional game. Our bottom 5 start at 5th, Trevor Nowaski. Made a couple plays late, but did miss on a couple tackles early. Safety, Ifeatu Melifonwu. Defensive end, Josh Pascal. Defensive tackle, and I'm not going to hold it against him because he played. Terrion Arnold will be playing next week. He's fine. I've said it for 2 days straight now. I already said this. I've given an update every show. um, Josh Pascal at 56. Pat O'Connor, who barely got in this ranking because he played 25 snaps exactly, 37.8. And Mitchell Agude was our worst player on the field at 33.4. He came back in the game. Christian Mahogany only played 5 snaps. It was cramping. They said that during the broadcast. I guess nobody listened to it. They even said that Terrion Arnold was questionable to come back in the game on Sunday night because everything was fine. He was out there on the field watching on the sideline. So even though he had a walking boot on, they just wanted to be precautionary. But he was questionable to return. They said he could have returned the previous during the game. That was reported right on the sideline by Melissa Stark. Um, the only guard that got hurt was Kevin Zietler. Graham Glasgow never got hurt. Good to see you, Pat. And he went out for 5 snaps. Christian Mahogany came in. That's it. That's the only thing that happened. It was Kevin Zietler. That's the only guard that went out of the game. It was cramps. We only lost one guy, and it was for 5 snaps. Well, yeah, because he didn't want to come out of the game, but he came back in. I don't get why people don't pay attention to that. Now that we're out of the regular season, there's no limit as to who we can bring back if they're healthy. And now they're saying even Derek Barnes might be back. The only guy I know that is out completely now is CD3 and also John Comiskey. And that kind of sucks because Comiskey is a good guy. I don't think we'll be playing the Eagles next week, Pensman. They're the 2 seed. Oh, Bears weren't invited when it started after week 6. That's how that rolls. But I don't like to just report the good news. I will report the bad news at Lions games. And when I hear something like that, that's that disgusting. It's awful. I don't care. They come to Detroit. I have no shit given on who comes here. Because guess what? Every time somebody says the only game that we lost after Aiden Hutchinson got hurt was the game everybody thought we were going to lose to start the season. Does anybody realize this? Everybody knew that there was a good chance we'd lose to the Bills. All roads come to Detroit. Yes, whoever is the lowest seeded winner is who comes to Detroit in the division round. And I still think out of the lower seeds, as much as I hate to say this, I think the Commanders on the NFC side and the Broncos are the most dangerous teams. I don't like the matchup for the Broncos, but that defense travels. And we've seen the Bills are struggling to stop teams now. They couldn't stop Patriots 2 weeks in a row. That was their last 2 games of the season, and they lost both of them. I just find it weird. I knew it when the schedule came out. I said that I had that game as a loss and everything else was a crapshoot. I said I don't think we'll go 16-1, but I think 15-2 is actually realistic. But I didn't see us losing more than 6 games. I saw 11-6 easily. So that was my window of wins to start the season. I settled on 12-5 because I said, well, that actually makes sense. We'd get the same record, win the division, and go there. But if we'd only got 12 wins, we wouldn't have won the division. Christian Watson is a bigger blow to the Packers offense than they want to admit. He's their deep threat. He's the reason why they were winning games by big margins. And Pat Rathwell, I get it, but I don't care who comes here. The Legion of Whom is ready, and we'll have more added. I will be right back. I have to use the restroom, and then we'll be bringing in somebody as a guest. Give me just a moment.
Show up here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out Kneecap Bodies by Jeremy.
Oh, perfect timing. That was I Didn't Want Yellow Stains in My Shorts by IP Freely is who that break was brought by. Teams should not be allowed to interview any coach in the playoffs until their season is over. Um, the rule is they approach the teams and they get permission from the teams first, and then the coach has to accept it. And we're in an off week, a complete off week, so this team can. Yeah, Packers 11-6. They should have been 12-5. How crazy is that? Our third place team is 11-6. Yeah, I know what Sean Payton has done with that team, and yes, they can be dangerous. Um, I heard he turned that down. He only accepted 2 interviews out of the 2, and I think the only one that's really a danger to possibly hire him in the off season because they can't be hired in season. All they can do is interview. Dwayne, you can be upset, but that's the NFL rules, and they're abiding by it. Uh, I disagree because if they're coordinators, they're not as important as the head coach, correct? Let's be honest. Which one's more important? Dan Campbell. It's amazing how the cream rises to the top by week 18. Vikings, Steelers were not what we thought. The Vikings are exactly what I thought they were. The second best team in this division roster wise. I said this, and I'll repeat it again. I had them as the second best team in the division from the get go. When I did position by position breakdown, they were the second best team in the division. It was Lions, Vikings, Packers, Bears. The talent on the Bears roster was there, but the deficiencies were at coaching and the old line, and I knew that mattered more. I'm gonna bring Kyle back in. That's fine. So there was about 9, 10 guys in that section where the 3 women were, and that's who I'm disgusted with. It wasn't like hundreds of them. It was 9 or 10 of them that was being belligerent and treating those women like shit. It's still unacceptable. Oh, there's been a ton of money put on the Lions since before the season started. The Lions were the fourth most bet team with the second most amount of money to win the Super Bowl before the season started, and it got more as it got closer because people started doubling down on bets because we were that good. I think it's amazing. Oh, Booth. Hey, Smoking Jeremy B. Oh, what a season it's been. I see a Super Bowl. Yes. Den Campbell, eight the coach of the year. 100%. Um, I, I, I think that was the game for the coach of the year, the first seed, and the division title. Bo Booth, I absolutely agree. The season of destiny. 15-2. Yes, that's what we are. The number one seed. Uh, by the letter of the rule, it was not a fumble. It was 2 steps. He didn't make a football move. The ball popped out right after the second step. I, I'm sorry, I can't agree. It it wasn't a fumble because if he'd have just switched it from one hand to the other, that's a football move. What's up?
What's up?
How you doing, Kyle? Whew, got a little road noise going on. Where you headed? Boy, I can't even make out what you're saying. There we go. Nobody's had a coach doing what Dan is doing.
What's
Oh,
up,
that's
JB?
was that you that just popped in here, or was that somebody else?
No, that was Pace. That was
Oh,
Pace, but he's about to come right back on.
okay, cool. So you shared the link with him. Gotcha.
I just sent him the link from his to his inbox, so he goes, "Where are you?" And I was sending out a Venmo thing, so
Hey, sleeping is good, Bo Booth. Sleeping lions are dangerous lions. Ask anybody who's ever crept up on one.
how was the
They
morning, JB?
fantastic.
Yeah, you have a pot of coffee yet?
Oh yeah, at least,
At least.
at least. Just checking out the daily notifications, see if there's anyone. Night games take a hold out of me.
Anything?
Catching up on this.
Any news?
Well, it was Lions fans that did that to the three women. There was about 10, maybe 15 Lions fans, and I'm disgusted. And so I apologize to Viking fans on behalf of the Lions fans who are decent, which is about 90% of us. There's always that 10% sect that are
Right,
always a piece of shit in every fan base. But
right,
what they did is unacceptable. And I hope they got some names and they turned them in to the fan PR department because they won't stand for it.
right.
So that was the first thing I opened up with, apologizing on behalf of the good fans of the Detroit fan base.
Right.
Oh yeah, 100% I'm going to watch the wild card games this weekend. Why wouldn't I? I love football first and foremost. I know it's hard for some of the teams that aren't going to be in there, like Jacksonville, Patriots, the Jets, the Dolphins, the Bengals. I think it's funny that the Bengals had to win to get in, but they had to have the Broncos lose, and the Chiefs said, "Fuck it, we've got the number one seed wrapped up. I ain't trying."
Right.
Yes, isn't it great? We're actually talking meaningful football for a second year in a row. Meaningful football for the Lions for a second season in a row, and we're on. We can't be one and done. Yeah, pretty much because
My
As
bad.
soon as those tickets went on sale, people scarfed them up as quick as possible. There's like a million scalpers out there for that has the money to do this shit, and they just sit there and they buy up like a section at a time, and then turn around and sell them to other people. Can many pull themselves together and beat LA? I don't know. And we got Smoky Falcons in the house.
What's
There he
up?
is.
There he is, and I can actually hear you this time.
Yeah, sorry, I was driving. I'm headed to work, but I'm on for. I got about a half hour.
Okay. It's good to meet you again, Austin Pace. I know we
Sure.
talked before.
Yeah, I think I met you in the car chat with the memorabilia shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think I was the only one before the season that correctly called how the NFC North was going to fall when everybody asked me.
Yeah, you did, man. Outside of the Bears, everybody looked pretty good this year.
I said the Bears are the worst team in the division, and they don't even realize it. They have all the talent in the world, no O line, and no coaching.
Yeah, that's
So,
terrible.
so the
That's a bad
Bills
situation.
comment here. A hot take. So if the Packers offer something for Brian Flores as the DC, right now I'm okay with what we have as a DC for his first year. I'm okay with Halfley. I just want to see more out of him next year.
Yeah, and build some more players around now.
And
Yo,
Kevin, if you actually look at the pricing of those, the home games that are $49 were teams that barely got into the playoffs but won their division.
And to answer that question about the Brian Flores thing, I don't think so. If he leaves the Vikings as a DC, he wants a head coaching job. I'm sure he wants another shot at this thing. So
But
I don't think.
we don't know. We don't know if any owner or GM will give him that head coaching job right away.
Right.
That's the only
Yeah.
thing
right.
because of what happened in Miami. And I understand that the Miami owner is a douche for doing what he did because he still had a winning record when he got rid of him.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Right.
never understood.
But man, it was so close to you guys getting in, wasn't it? There, Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Defense is just
Falcons.
terrible.
Falcons were pretty close.
We got
They
all
got they
all.
got a future though in Penix.
Yeah, I saw some good things out of him. I like Bijan. I think he really carries the team on the back. London's coming along. The offense is good, man. You got to build some defense. Giving up
I
42
think the
points
guy you
to
need to get
giving
rid
up
of
42 points and 4 touchdowns to Bryce Young, that ain't gonna cut it.
five five touchdowns.
Yeah, 5 touchdowns. One was rushing.
Yep.
That's
But
terrible football.
I think the guy on offense you need to get rid of is Kyle Pitts.
I agree 100%.
All he is a yards getter. He's basically
Yeah,
Julio Jones and a tight end body.
yeah, and you could replace that in the draft or free
Right.
agency.
And I said to Kyle, I said, I think the wide receiver they need, he isn't a big body like Christian Watson, but he's almost as fast and way more reliable hands. It's that
Yeah,
kid out of Miami, Xavier Restrepo.
yeah. I mean, we got Drake London, Darnell Mooney. You got Ray McLeod, which he's a free agent. I actually like Ray McLeod. He was pretty good for us.
I think you guys can get him for the vet minimum because he was like your fourth wide receiver, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Nope.
top fun. That's what most of Kirk Cousins throwing him this year. And Penix career high 187 against
And
the
I
Penix
think,
throwing. So I think Penix might be on to something here.
yep. And I think absolutely, Kevin, good to a point. And Bo Booth admits to what I said. Packers losing one of their best weapons is bad. Tough pass going to Philly shorthanded.
It
And I
is.
said that. I said that Christian Watson is the biggest reason why that offense opened back up once he got healthy this year.
Yeah, because he's that deep guy that can go get you one.
Hey,
And
what do you
right.
think we're gonna win?
I do think the Eagles are going to win. I don't think it's going to be a blowout like they're predicting. I think it's
I'll
going to be
say
close.
27-14. I think the Eagles had just run the football extremely well.
Yeah,
That's going to tie
the
your
Packers
defense
still average about 21
up.
points a
Yeah.
game. Philly averages at that 28, so I'm in the same thing, but I'm thinking it's just a one-score game. I think it's
Right.
8 points. I think it's 28-20 or 27-19, some stupid
I could see
score.
27.
I think it's one of those type of games where they almost cover. You know what I mean?
Right.
they're either going to cover or almost cover is what I'm getting at. Because Philly starts slow too. Both these
Right.
teams, for some reason, in the first quarter, don't come out firing.
No.
Yep, your connection's getting spotty there, Smokey.
But it is the playoffs, so we'll see.
Right. Stranger things have happened.
Right.
Here he goes. Must have got to a better area. Yeah,
Yeah, sorry, I was in a bad spot. But yeah, I think it could be 27-21ish.
So I want to ask you, what do you think of Wings and Cheese as the name of your podcast?
I like that. I just need a good logo. That's all.
Yeah, we just need a logo.
Oh, that isn't.
But the good thing about it is it's the off season, so
We
I have
got
time to go
yeah,
to
we got
page.
time to
Right.
think about it.
And use Canva and use their AI and type in what you want.
So yeah, and I meant to ask you, is your shows always on Tuesdays, Jeremy?
I do Monday through Friday at noon every day.
Okay.
The
That's
first half
that's
hour, I just go
I'll
over
be off the
news and
rest of the
stuff
week,
like
so
that.
I might.
I like to do that solo where I
Yeah,
go over the
I'll be
breaking
off the
news.
rest of the week, so man.
So if you guys want to come
Right.
in about 12:30 each day, and then we can have a little powwow, I'm good with that.
yeah. I'm co-
I'm cool with that.
I'm
I'm
cool
off the
every
rest of the week,
day.
so man,
Every day on the
I'm off the rest of the
Okay.
week.
Yeah.
Gonna
Tonight I'm
talk
going to be a
football.
part of a group thing on Twitter and YouTube through another group, and it's called the Open Mic with Sports Coin. It's ran by Bills, the Jaguars, Pittsburgh, and Steelers fans. So it's mostly AFC. Orlando, you
All
sick puppy. He always comes in with that one. I'm just here for the man titties.
right.
Everybody can be funny, and it's great. I love it. Yep, and I love the fact that they gave Mike Evans that one catch at the end of the game to get his 5 yards to get his money.
Yeah, man, he's a Hall of Famer, man. Great player. I hate to
yeah,
see him in
he's
Tampa,
good.
but it is what it
Kevin,
is.
the
He's always
the noon
consistent.
show never changes because there's enough information that I can probably get enough news going around the league. I don't just focus on the Lions
Yeah,
anymore.
I see your question. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Kirk Cousins. I don't know if he's going to go to a new team or retire. There's a lot of things. That's kind of like a Rodgers situation now.
So I was hearing that the Falcons were willing to bring him as a backup. They reconstruction. I mean, I don't know, man. I think honestly,
I
just
think they're
cut him
going
at
to
the end of the
restructure
year.
him so they can cut him.
But I will say this: he has been terrible for us, but he has been a good mentor to
Right.
Phoenix. I do like
And
that.
this is
He's actually willing to coach him up.
just because nobody here's a Bears fan, and you know what happens when you lose at Thanksgiving? You get the cob.
You see that, Pace? That's great.
Yeah,
Canva does great things, you know.
yeah. But Kirk Cousins, he'll either get he's definitely probably gonna get cut from us. We'll save some money on that bonus or whatever. But I just don't see him going to a team that has no O line. Like the Giants
Okay,
need a
I need
quarterback,
to.
and they're probably gonna try to go after him. But why would Kirk Cousins want to go to the Giants? I mean, it don't make no
Zietler was
sense.
dealing with cramps. It's nothing serious. Terrion Arnold, he had an X-ray and an MRI. Everything came back negative in his foot, and he will be back for the divisional round, and that's great because he was our best-rated cornerback the last game. The way he defended Addison was amazing. Nobody had been able to do that for like the last 7
Yeah, I was
weeks.
about to say. And you know what's crazy, man? Like, I hate to go off topic here, but everybody compares Jefferson and Jamar Chase. I don't think there's no comparison. I think Jamar's better than the guy, to be honest with you.
It's a good debate.
Jefferson looked like a
That's a
ghost in
good
that game.
JB. That's a good
I
debate.
just think
It is.
Jamar Chase or
Uh,
Jefferson, who you building a
right
franchise
now, you
around?
have to give a slight edge to Jefferson because he's done more as far as specifically who he's played with and the yards he's put up.
Yeah, Jamar also has a better quarterback,
Right.
so I can see
But as
that.
far as postseason,
Yeah, if Jefferson had a Burrow, man, that'd
if
probably be
as far as
ridiculous.
postseason results and in his division results, Jamar does a lot better.
Right.
Yeah, they're both good wide receivers. This is something about Jamar Chase, man. That dude just clicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Moonscar, Aaron Rodgers had Cobb in his mouth too, but it looked different than that.
Oh man.
But
Oh man.
that's a bump. You got to
That's
admit that one was funny as fuck.
that's great.
Yep, and you know, get in Darnold's face and he folds. That's what we
Yep.
saw.
Yep.
23 pressures, 19 QB hurries,
I've been
6
saying that,
QB hits.
JB. You blitz the shit out of Darnold, and he's not that great.
It looked just like when he got beat up that game in the Jets that he talked about seeing ghosts.
Right.
That's the exact same game you saw. The only thing is
Right.
he didn't throw picks. That's the only difference, right?
Right.
At least he learned to sail it over guys' heads instead of into defenders, because that's what he did that game when he was blitzed that much with the Jets. Oh, I know. I know all about Meek playing JJ since high school. I heard all about it. There's not much that gets by. But I don't like bringing up that stuff because high school compared to pros, that's a hard leap. But at the
Right.
same time, he proved that he knows what to do. He stayed on
Right.
him, chipped him when he can, did everything he was supposed to do in the right way. Oh,
Uh.
I think as much as
Jo-
I hate to say it, loves their starter.
yeah. There ain't no doubt. Love is not our starter. And this, I consider this Love sophomore year slump because it really is his second year actually playing.
And I think it's funny people are trying to make fun of us because Goff threw more interceptions than Love this year.
Right.
But he does have 13 more touchdowns.
Yeah.
And didn't we sweep the division?
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, if you're going to compare apples to oranges right now,
Right.
there's no comparison. The completion percentage. Look at what your Love's completion percentage is way down from what he did last year. Way
Right.
down. And yes, he kept the interceptions about the same, but his touchdowns weren't as much. And
No.
that's
Well.
the exact reason why their stats lined up the way it did. And
Right.
that's not being a dick, not trying to be rude, but this happens. Look at CJ Stroud. Look at the difference when his O line was healthy in the games to start the season and what happened after the few of them went down and how he looked.
Right.
There's all of that. Yeah, there's promise in Malik, but at the same time,
Yeah, but if you watch some of the tape on Sunday, you definitely could tell he's not ready to be a starter.
absolutely.
He
And that's
can't feel
another.
pressure. He his arm isn't there. He's got.
Well,
I mean, he's got an arm, but he's not accurate.
what what helps Malik is when he's coached to play all week. With being
Right.
the practice squad guy, he wasn't coached to be the guy to run the team.
Right.
When Love was hurt, he looked amazing because LaFleur is a great coach. Don't take it away and don't get it twisted. Because
Right.
nobody at Tennessee was able to get that.
Right.
If Tennessee thought Malik was 10% of what he was for those 4 games, guess what? Will Levis would have been dropped faster than mayo that's moldy in a jar.
Right. Stroud is also in a sophomore slump.
That's exactly what I'm saying. In the first few games, he was doing great, and as soon as the
Right.
injuries to his O line happened and he started to feel the pressure, he fell apart.
Hmm.
6 weeks into the season with the Bears, their O line was doing good. As soon as they started to hit teams with the pass rush, what happened?
Right.
And they were 4-2. Let's not act like it wasn't looking like we might have 4 teams with 10+ wins, and this will be crazy because that means a 10+ team might be out of the playoff.
Hmm.
And it would have been if they just stayed playing the way they did. But Bears did Bear thing. The O line started playing like the Bears O-line of last year, whether it's injuries and bad coaching. Well, it probably is bad coaching. Guess what? They've had the same O-line coach from Matt Eberflus back to Matt Nagy. And I think that's the biggest mistake they made when they changed over the coaching staff. They kept that guy who was a bum.
Right.
Oh, yeah. A lot of things. But you know what? Now that the Lions are having a good record, there's teams that grasp at the one or two bad calls that are missed or anything else saying that that's why they lost. You know what that reminds me of? The
What's
the
that?
same shit we used to do when we were losing.
Right.
Isn't that what you heard from us Lion fans back in the day, Kyle? Oh
Oh
my
yeah.
God, the refs. Oh my
Yes.
God, we were so
Yep.
injured. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Refs make mistakes. Granted, some of them are more blatant than others, but those casual little bang bang plays, those can go either way every time.
Right.
And we've seen it in the past, and I'm not trying to make it an excuse for the losing, where those bang bang plays did go against us in the past many times.
Right.
Uh, they've requested an interview with McCarthy, but the Cowboys have refused to let him interview. Jerry Jones basically said no, because technically we're still in season. Teams have to request the interviews whether their team is active in the postseason or not, because the season's not over till the day after the Super Bowl.
Right.
I understand Orlando, but those bad memories get less and less every year of those of the bad calls that hurt us. Now we're starting to hear there's bad calls that help us. And by the way, if yeah, I think Aiden Hutchinson is definitely back by the championship game. I have hope that he's here by the divisional game, but if there's even a 10% chance of re-injury, I don't want him back for it.
You
Yeah,
don't wait. Say that again.
Aiden Hutchinson is definitely going to be back by the NFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want him back in the divisional game if there's even a 10% chance of re-injury.
Right. Yeah, I would be very careful with him.
Right. But, they moved that timetable up from the Super Bowl to the NFC Championship game a month ago. That tells you that his rehab is going in the right direction to possibly come in a bit sooner. That's all I want.
Right.
So we can be hopeful he's back next week. I think
Right.
he 100% will probably get activated to his 21-day activation window. That way he can
Right.
start doing some team workout. And I think that's great because he's going to need that. But more than likely, he'll be limited that first week and not play.
Right.
I think we're going to see Montgomery take some snaps in the next week or so. Oh, Jim, it was 100%. But when I saw him after El Kadim Muhammad got that sack, he was literally jumping up and down. He wasn't just bouncing on his toes. He was jumping up and down. I was like, "Oh, that leg's close. That's exciting." you know, because
Right.
if that leg's hurting at all, you're not jumping. You know what I mean, Kyle. Those guys don't want to do that and ruin themselves.
No.
So the strength has got to be getting close to where it's equal now. You can see a slight difference in the size of his calves when he was wearing those shorts. Because let's face it, they keep that field at 65 degrees. But when all those people are running around and all the people's in the stands, you've seen the ambient temperature. It raises to almost 70. It's comfortable.
Right. Right.
I cannot wait to see what happens in a week. Hey, Brent DeWitt, good to see you, brother. But, it's funny that Colin goes, I hate to say it, I was wrong. Last 3 weeks of the season, he was predicting every other team to beat Detroit, the Packers, the Bears. Then he predicted Minnesota. He goes, I was wrong. Dan Campbell is the perfect guy for this team. He has coached them. They have embodied his personality, his machismo, his grit, right there.
Right.
This is what we are now. Spent time with talked with Sheila as well on the sidelines, Lion for life. We re-signed Penei Sewell this last offseason. He's already extended through 2028, Guilty. We accepted his fifth-year option and gave him a 4-year extension. We have him the first 9 years of his career.
Yeah,
We extended Aleem
that
right
was a good
after Hutchison,
extension.
right after Hutchison went down, and he played a majority of the season, no matter what. He only missed the last 3 games. So it sucks that Aleem tore his ACL in that Bills game, and it was a big reason why we couldn't get a defensive stop after that. I mean, let's face it, we lost a lot in that Bills game.
Mm-hmm.
David Montgomery with the partial tear of his MCL, the ACL tear of him, the whatever it was with Carlton Davis. We lost all 3 of those guys in that game. 2 of them are season enders. That's awful. But when do they announce Coach of the Year? It'll be coming soon. It usually isn't it the week of the championship games, the
Usually,
conference
I believe
championship game.
around that time.
Yep, and we extended St. Brown. And the 2 guys we got to worry about now, as far as starting material, is accepting the 5th-year options on Jamison Williams, who got his 1,000 yards despite only playing 15 games, and
Right.
Aiden Hutchinson, which I'm quite sure we're going to see how healthy he is in the postseason, will take his 5th year and then extend him. Because if you have the chance to lock up those guys for the first 9 years of their career,
Right.
boom. Sheila is worth $2 billion just from the Lions. She has no stakes in the Ford Motor Company. She has more stakes in the Firestone Tire Company, by the way, which her mom's family owns.
Mm-hmm.
Because Bill Jr. is the sole owner of the Ford Motor Corporation. But he sponsors the Lions still. Why? Because his dad owned the team. He still loves the team. He's mad that his dad put in the will that he could have no part of running this team because he was part of the reason why we hired Matt Millen.
Right.
I kind of agree with that. I think Marshawn Lloyd started to come on at the end of the season. So I think those ones, and then you got the decisions on which one of the guys that gets injured a lot that you want to bring back on vet minimums out of the other rookies that are left over that will possibly be free agents. You got Derek Barnes. You've got Ifeatu Melifonwu. They're good depth pieces, no matter what. And then you also got Jameer Jefferson, who actually showed up last week, not this past week, the week before,
Right.
because he was doing some things to y'all, wasn't he?
Hey.
I think he had 2 catches for 20 yards.
Uh
Yeah, that's
going to
right.
I'm going to Bill's question here, and I don't I wouldn't mind seeing Emmanuel Wilson get a new contract.
Yeah, he's in the last year of his rookie contract, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and he
You
might
just
be
you guys
cheap.
you guys just drafted Marshawn Lloyd, who started to come on a little bit towards the end, but he hadn't been healthy all season, correct?
Right.
Yes. Dwayne Keene, you're absolutely right. We do have to give Sheila a big thank you for what she did in taking over and turning this team around. Yes, if he has been playing well in his return. But with Branch and Kirby as your starters, you can't give them starter money.
No.
And as much will we resign Levi? I think we do. I think we're going to resign him too. He's the other one. That's the other guy I couldn't think of. Yeah, got to do it again.
That's great.
Talk about teeth and Caleb Williams. I got to show the Cobb.
Oh, it was a good show last night.
Yes, Fred, it was a lot of fun. Thank you for coming on. This is B couldn't make it because he was with female company, and that's all right. I like that excuse for not coming.
Right.
Well, not coming on the show. I mean, yes, all puns intended, boys.
You'd think there'd be more news today, right?
uh, there will be. The GM of the Colts was fired this morning.
Yep.
GM, there she goes. Yes, I think he did earn a contract finally. Didn't he play like 14 of the games this year? He was healthy for most of it. A big contributor, especially once Davenport and Barnes went down. He got
Right.
back healthy after week 3, and I think he's played every week or at least part of the games ever since, and done well. He's had more games that he did well than he did bad. Oh yeah, Christian Watson is basically out the next year, this whole 4th year of his rookie contract, because it's not just his ACL; he has ligament damage.
Yeah, he's got damage in his leg now.
Yeah, is it muscle or ligament?
I think it's ligament.
Okay, because the ACL is a ligament, but you're saying there's other ligaments damaged as
Yeah,
well,
there's other damage to it.
like the ACL, the PCL, the
Yeah.
MCL, that type of stuff. And there's another one I can't remember. There's like 4 of them altogether. There's
Right.
the LCL, lateral. That's the other
Yep.
one. The lateral is what holds the knee in place. The 2 behind it are always the big ones, the ACL and PCL, and there's the MCL. Yeah, but
Yeah, I don't know what we do here. There ain't really anybody that looks promising to go just throw in and
at the same time, the only 2 interviews that Ben Johnson has accepted is the Patriots and the Bears, and that out of the 2, I think the only one that has a shot to hire him is the Patriots. But seeing how they can't sign him or do anything till after the postseason's over, I think there's a big chance they just go ahead and take Mike Vrabel
right.
to get him in there, get him familiar, get his people in there. And I think the Bears, because he's already said he has a assistant staff ready to go and he wants to coach there. I think Pete Carroll might be a slam dunk for them.
Right.
And I'd hate to see Pete Carroll in the division because he
Same.
terrorized all of us with
Yes.
Seattle. So say what you want. I would hate and love it. I'd love it for the Bears fans and hate it for the rest of us. Is that an
Right.
honest assessment of that?
No, I agree. I don't want him in this division at all.
But I do got to show you one thing. This is my only troll I got for you about the Packers. At least I do it with pictures that are funny. You
Right.
know what I mean? I'm not sitting here just trashing your organization because you know
Right.
what? We were trashed for decades. We know what that feels like. And that's
Right.
the one thing we haven't
Right.
done. The only thing we've really done is be braggy, isn't that right? Most of us, I mean, there's a few that are trash talkers, but most of us don't talk trash. We talk stats, facts, and
Right.
be proud. Yeah, he may be in his I think he's 72, turning 73 towards the end of this year. So that means he probably has 7 or 8 years. Look how long Bill Belichick coached, and it took him longer to get to the rigors of the NFL. Remember, he's only been a coach in the NFL since what? Russell Wilson's rookie year, 2011.
Right.
So he doesn't have that much tenure in the NFL. He did have a stint back with the Giants when they made the mistake of hiring him before he went to USC.
Right.
And I agree with you. I think what you're going to see is they're doing these requests, and they can do these requests because they can't hire anybody till the end of the season. They're going to get through the requests of the coordinators that are in season and everything else, not hire anybody, and then you're going to see all the root before the Super Bowl happens, just like we saw last year. Isn't that what we saw all last year?
Y- Yeah,
And then you'll see a
basically.
couple of those hires, like the surprise one was Raheem Morris. Nobody expected him to have a head coaching job again, and he did a good job this year with them.
Yep.
Yeah,
Where
Wilson,
where
but
does
at the same time, he's actually thrown some decent passes that the guys just aren't catching, other than Fryermuth. Fryermuth is the only reliable receiver on that roster. George Pickens, it
right,
depends on which head he has on that day. If he has the head to play football on, he's amazing. If he doesn't, he's complete ass.
right.
Carroll looked to be good and in good shape, but the Bears job might. Oh, 100%. Yes, we resigned Teddy Bridgewater to be our emergency third quarterback, so he'll be on that inactive roster as the emergency third quarterback, so it doesn't count towards your 53 every week. But I think we brought him back because if Ben Johnson doesn't go, I think Mark Brunell leaves and gets an offensive coordinator job because of the job he did just
Right.
coaching that high school team that was 5-7 the year before, and they went undefeated and won their state championship 56-14. They outscored their opponents down. You tell me that he didn't learn something from this coaching staff to go down there and do that type of a job with a bad team. So I think he's
Right.
brought in that he'll go back to retirement, but step right into the quarterback coach role next year. If we lose Glenn, who are the liars? I think we bring up people on the staff on both sides of the ball. If Ben Johnson goes, it's going to be Tanner Strom. He was brought in 2.5 years ago to be the guy to study as the passing game coordinator right underneath Ben Johnson. Comes from the same coaching tree. I think that's who we get. And then as far as on the defensive side, if you listen to the coaching pressers and you listen to the assistant coach, Kelvin Shepard specifically, he sounds like he's already the defensive coordinator of this team, and I think he's the assistant defensive coordinator. I think he gets promoted immediately. Jim Jackson, you're right. That's 100% what it is. Jacksonville was turned down by Ben Johnson. He turned down the request to interview with them. How bad does Trevor Lawrence have to be if he turned it down?
Right.
That's where I'm at. And the other team that requested he turned down was the Giants. And I heard he also turned down the Cowboys, but I haven't confirmed the Cowboys source. So until I confirm the Cowboys source, I'm not saying it's news. That's a rumor right now. But I already know that the rumor was he refused it, which is why they're refusing to let Mike McCarthy coach go to coach interview anywhere.
Right.
Exactly, Michael Huck. That's where I'm at. But they don't lose coordinators in this season. It'll be the off season. They have to stay. They can't sign a contract anywhere else until this season's over. That's the letter of the rule of the NFL. Well, Aaron Glenn has an interview request for the exact same teams, Bill T. So that isn't exactly true. Aaron Glenn's being interviewed by the Patriots. He's being interviewed. He's being interviewed by the
Uh
Bears.
huh.
He's also being interviewed by the Jets. He's also being interviewed by the Saints. I think the Jets or the Saints is where Aaron Glenn ends up.
I think the Jets too.
I think the Saints more than anything. That's where he came from with Dan Campbell. I think that makes the most sense. That defense is the most ready. Sorry, I meant Michael, not you, Bill. Comment removed. Exactly. But I think what he's doing is he's trying to see if there's any of the good coordinators out there that want to interview for his shit team. I think that's what he's going through. That's 100% where I'm at. That's a shit team. I don't
Right.
care what you say. They can have all the talent in the world. They can't get past the divisional round in any season since the last time they went to the Super Bowl. The Lions have played
Hmm.
in more NFC championship games since 2000 than the Dallas Cowboys. How
Right.
crazy is that? And they've only been to one. If that isn't some good smack talking stat for you to throw in a Cowboys fan's face when they say this is our year, just say, "Sit down, coaches. You haven't been to a conference championship game since 2000." I don't think Dennis Allen comes back to the NFL. I don't even think he's going to get a coordinator job. That guy looked like dog shit. Because if he was going to be hired as an assistant of any kind, when he was released, what was it, back in week 9? He'd have already been hired as an assistant somewhere. But
Right.
they make positions for good coaches when they're fired by somebody if they are good at something. Look at what they did with Robert Salah. They didn't put him on the defense. They had him advising the offensive line on how to block defensive pressure, which it did get better for a minute until some injuries happened.
Hmm.
So that worked. But Robert Salah is a defensive coordinator. And maybe they're going to. No, we have to win 2 games to get to the Super Bowl. We have to win the divisional round, and then we also have to win the NFC Championship game. There's 2 games. Hokey do, welcome in. Good to see you. Nice to have another fan here. It's always good to get more fans. Thank you, Moonscar, for the suggestion to him. But I do have Kyle DeBosch. He is a Packer fan. He's getting ready to start a podcast. Are you guys? Is that the name? Is that what you're going with then? Wings and cheese.
I th- I I'm not 100% sure yet, but
It
it's
sounded
there.
like Austin's down for it. So,
Yeah.
but that's what it's looking like. They're going to be getting started soon. I don't know what night you guys are doing. Tuesday nights, right? Is what you were talking about doing.
Yeah. Tuesday nights. Late night
I
show.
don't see him going to Dallas because Jerry and his son Steven are a joke of a front office. I still think Ben Johnson. There's about a 70% chance he stays right here.
What's good, man?
And just because they're frauds and they're probably going to lose in LA, I got to put this up again.
Frauds. JB, yell frauds.
That's what I heard all year about the Lions, and every week we just kept winning.
Yeah, they're
I just kept laughing at people. You saw me in the chat laugh at it every time.
yep.
Yep, go
Yep.
ahead and keep saying that. Then we smack your sorry ass down and beat you again. They're like, go ahead, talk your shit. Yep, we had a bad
Right.
game. This guy didn't show up. He didn't do this. Oh, wait, who just sacked Love? Remember when Isaac was talking shit about Zadarius Smith, and then boom, right after he said it,
Oh
the sack
yeah.
happened. You were like, God, just shut up, Isaac.
Yep.
All of a sudden, he went from having 0 tackles to 8 tackles in the game.
Thank you,
And
man.
I
Thank
will
you.
be a guest whenever you want on Tuesdays. If I'm not doing one with my
Right.
podcast, with my publisher that I
Right.
write for,
No, you're welcome on you're welcome on
send me a
anytime.
link.
That's the best part of about it is I'll help you, you help me. We'll go live all the
Yeah,
time together. I
I'll
don't
share it
care.
into my channel, or hell, I even give you a link that allows you to share it into my channel. That way you get more views because that'll help it grow
Right.
faster on the road. Oh, the human
Right.
FTP? Yes. This was my favorite thing that we pictured that came out of Lambo.
Oh
You didn't even
man.
realize that that's what they were doing, did you? They were making the T
Uh
for FTP. I'm on Rob made this picture and put it out as a meme.
right.
I do a show every Monday through Friday at noon, Hokey Do. And sometimes we run over. Like right now, there's not a lot of news. I'm waiting to see if anything breaks so I can do it. But we know that Zietler had cramps. He's good to go. We know that Terrion Arnold has no broken bones or ligaments torn in his foot. He'll be back for the divisional round. So both those guys are good. What I think is great is that while Zietler was out in those 5 snaps, I still calculating because I got laxed on it. The holidays were rough on me. Um, I got
Right.
another day or two, and the results will be out because now we're to the playoffs, and the playoffs is the playoffs. We're just doing it for the fun in the playoffs. If you guys want me to put the pick'em sheets for the playoffs in each week, I will. Oh, not Moonscar or JI. I got you. you have me. You had me there for a second, but I just want to say how proud I am of this team and of the whole division.
Right.
You know, outside the
Right.
Bears who didn't do shit, this division was amazing this year. Playing outside of
It
the division.
was.
Yeah, breaking news: Cowboys do not give permission to Bears to talk to McCarthy. I know. That's why I said because none of the coordinators that Jerry is and Steven has reached out to wants to talk to the Cowboys. They might get stuck with extending Mike McCarthy. How hilarious will that be?
Right.
Moonscar, I think it's because he wants to win one for a change. I guess Broski changed his name. I still think Pete Carroll's the smartest hire for Chicago. And it's not because I want him there. It's because that would be the smartest hire.
It makes the most sense.
Moonscar, no one has to back out. I'm not going to do a playoff one because there's not enough games where I could do a small enough prize to make it worth. Oh, Jim Jackson, you're not the only one. I admitted it. I sat there and said the Lions win the Super Bowl. I don't care if it's negative 20 degrees outside. I'm going to be crying and streaking
Right.
and laying down in the snow and rolling in it.
Right.
This It's such an amazing run, and our odds were good to win the Super Bowl before the season started. I think we had the third or fourth best odds at that time, and now we have the best
Right.
odds to win it all.
Right.
And, that's the competition thing between you guys, and I love it. It's just all of this stuff that's happening this year for the Lions. Nobody said that's a scary picture, JB. Yeah, I know it is. Orlando just got excited though. Hey, at least I have fun with the people there. What I thought was funny is every time they went to AG during the second half, he was just chilling. He was just sitting there.
Right.
He didn't even have his tablet out in front of him for 80% of the second half. I think he just said, guys, go do what you do. You got this.
Right.
Lions Super Bowl odds plus 280. Yes, best odds in the NFL right now. Isn't that crazy? Who did you ever thought you'd live to see the Lions be at that point, Kyle, as a Packer fan,
Right.
where they're the favorites for a Super Bowl? Did you ever think that?
No.
We didn't either until last year. We saw something. We saw how they reacted to the loss, and they reacted in a way that made me think they could get back. And I've never ever backed off. Kneecap frostbiting with SJB, you porn edition. Oh, you guys are great. I love you.
Yeah. I mean, McCarthy's he's not a bad coach. You could almost guess what kind of plays he runs out.
Yep, Fred, you're absolutely right. During the HBO Hard Knocks, M- MCDC mentioned no leaf clover. It feels right this time. Couldn't be more accurate. Exactly, Michael Huck. That's my point. Thank you, Jim Jackson, for being here. Make sure you guys all hit the like button on the way out. We don't have as many people watching today, and I think it's because everybody wanted to see if I was going to sit here and just bash the Vikings all day yesterday. And that's not what I do. Do I talk a little shit? Do I
Right.
have fun with it? Do I do the memes and let that do the talking for me? 100%. Because you know what? That makes it more fun. You, yeah,
Right.
I might need a hoodie for little a banana hammock is what you're saying, correct? I'll never forget the look on St. Brown's face walking off the field of Levi after the NFC Championship loss. And just like, and I'm not saying we're there, but if we're there again this year, it's in Detroit. And I think that's a buzzsaw for any team to deal with. A rabid fan base that's been wanting this for decades and just making it an absolute nightmare. Has Sarah shown her face? Not the last couple of days. Haven't seen her. It's okay. She'll come back. I think she's still commiserating in her loss, and that's fine. Uh, I don't think anything's going to happen to the Lions. I think what's going to happen is we're going to find out some names and find out some fans get banned for life, and they'll have to attend classes for how to act responsibly.
Right.
Because that's what happened with that Farouk Bashad. They had season tickets, but now he has to go to the end of the wait list because his season tickets have been revoked. Yes, maybe, LOL. There's no need to talk shit. Vikings overachieved. I don't think they really overachieved, though. I think they got exactly where I thought they would. I They
Right.
contended for the division, and I was one of two or three people that said that might happen. And I mean
Hmm.
from experts to the talking heads that are podcasters throughout this community and others channels. You didn't even see Vikings podcasters before the season started saying they were going to contend for the division. They didn't
Right.
expect it, especially after JJ McCarthy went down. As a matter of fact, a lot of them were like, "Oh, it's Sam Darnold." You heard it, Kyle. The
Yep.
enthusiasm
I
as soon
did.
as he found out. The Vikings even bought $2 million in tickets for the game, and that bit them in the ass. Well, that $2 million in tickets. The only person will refusing to talk shit is the person talking shit. Yes, yes, yes. But at the same time, I'm apologizing, and if there's any Vikings fans out there, I'm apologizing on behalf of the Lions fan base and franchise as a podcast.
Hmm.
That type that type of behavior is unacceptable. What you did to those three women Viking fans, one of them being pregnant.
Yep.
Yes, I did see that. I saw the letter. Oh, I know you did, Fred. I heard it in your voice. You were still a little hoarse last night. And no, I'm not. I don't mean you were chasing Broncos.
Oh man, that's good.
Yes, I do have fun with my one-liners, even at the expense of my friends. Because guess what? If my friends can't take me being a dick, they're probably not my friends.
Right. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was a great game to go to. I didn't even tear up. It wasn't like last year when we beat the Vikings to secure that North Championship, even though it was secured the week before. It was just putting a stamp on last year, if you know what I mean, Kyle. Finishing it out strong
Right.
and going into the playoffs strong. Hokey doo. I agree. For one, you never hit a woman. I was not raised that way. Absolutely. Broncos are kicking Vikings players in the ass. I'll tell you what. Everybody said Sean Payton was washed because he had Russell Wilson. He gets a rookie quarterback, and look what they did. They're in the playoffs with 11 wins. Okay,
Right.
say what you want. That's a good fucking coach.
Yep.
And all he needed was a quarterback that had more arm strength than a wet noodle. Because Russell Wilson doesn't have that big arm he had even 5 years ago. Ever since, wasn't that when he damaged his elbow and he hasn't had the same arm strength
Yeah.
since?
Yep.
I mean, he actually looks like he has less arm strength. Three Vikings fans, one of them being Vikings Van Ness. Uh, let me read the quote. Had the unfortunate experience of attending the Lions at Vikings game on Sunday. This was my fourth stadium to visit this season, and the experience was horrendous. Some of these male Lions fans were raised by wild animals. I wear football shoulder pads, and I lost count of how many times that men hit my pads as I walked by. Had my horns taken from off the head of my helmet, and some good fans had to chase them down. So there was Lions fans. There was Lions fans that defended her.
Right.
I was physically blocked from being able to walk so I could have obscenity screed inches from my face. One man acted like he was going to punch me in the face and came centimeters from my mouth. I was called a bitch or fat ass and countless other names. Total classless crap. Security laughed and turned their back. You won Detroit. No reason to be assholes. And the fact that I hear that security turned around, that's awful.
Right.
So one of the women was a pregnant woman and heard she was punched in the belly. Didn't hear she was hospitalized, but still, it's unacceptable. And the
Right.
other one was treated just like that because she dressed in her Vikings garb. So do better.
Gone for an hour and I'll be back.
Do better.
Bonnie.
Well, Bill, they didn't accept Justin Fields' fifth year option either. This is his only year there. So if they really have a question, do they want to sign Justin Fields to a possible mid-level starting contract? So you're talking $40 million a year, except the franchise
Yeah.
tag, which will be 54.5. Yes, Kevin. And yes, I agree. Safe management should be contacted. And I hope that Miss Victoria Dawson, the Vikings Van Ness woman, contacts and reports what section she was in and the security that saw it. Because safe management runs security for 28 of the 32 teams, and that's including the Ford Field establishment.
Right.
So yes, I put that out there. And I'm actually putting that in a Vikings chat right now so that I can be have some class and dignity.
Right. Hey, Senja just put a thing out. I don't even know who that is, but maybe I'll jump on her show.
Oh, Sonya. Yes. Sonya Peterson's great.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
people. If depending on what time the show is, I'll have to jump on. At least say hi, you know.
Reality, there are assholes in every crowd. Doesn't excuse it. Just saying it happens anytime you get 40,000 people involved in a competitive environment. Ever watch? Oh, yeah, I know.
No, the Packers should not
And I
lose.
like your answer there, Fred.
Not saying not saying that they're gonna win, but I don't like losing. We have a winning mentality and we like to win.
And that's why I think a lot of our fans have asked you specifically about how you feel about Matt LaFleur and if he should come back. And I think that's why they asked. Because now it's getting to the
Right.
point, is it a lesson in mediocrity? Do you see what I'm saying?
I just
Do you see
think
what I'm getting at there?
I th- I LaFleur's a good coach, but I think we need a real offensive coordinator so he can actually do his job instead of worrying about play calling and coaching. You know, take some pressure off him and have someone help him and work with him, in my opinion. But I don't want to just go in and lose a game for no reason. That's not us.
And I think I know exactly what section she was in.
What's
I
that?
think I know exactly what section she was in because those guys are usually assholes. They sit at the top side of the tunnel area. They're not close enough to be on camera or film, and they're back far enough, but it's lower bowl, and the seats are a little cheaper there. You see what I'm saying? And those
Right.
guys act like dicks and treat everybody, including our own fans, like dicks every time they get drunk in the second half. I think that would be a great choice for them, Bill, is to get Kellen Moore. But I think he's going to be looking for probably. Yep, Dan Campbell does trust everyone. That's what he trusts his players. Remember what he said about fourth down? He goes, "We're going to run it so much in practice that it's not going to be a second thought in the game. That you're just going to go for it, and you'll accept what happens if you make it or not, because then it's no surprise that we're doing it. The only thing it surprises is other fan bases and other teams and the guys around here that never heard that speech. That's how Dan Campbell
Right.
feels about fourth down. And there was a certain historic coach that comes from a place called Titletown who had the same mentality on fourth down. You know who that was, Kyle DeBosch? Who
Yeah.
was it?
The same
Mm-hmm.
mentality of going
Of
for it.
going for it, and it went way back in history. It's not just recent.
Vince
Yes,
Lombardi.
100%.
Lombardi liked to gamble like that.
I think that it could really come down to that because with the way the conference aligns, we end up on opposite sides of that bracket. And so all roads will come through Detroit. Yeah, I thought that was great. And that's a class act for the guy to say because he knows that was a good team he just beat on. Don't you agree? Hey, we'll see you in 2 weeks means
I
go win your game.
definitely.
That that is a one hell of a compliment for one coach to give another coach.
Right.
And he must be an Eagles fan. And Joey Uso, welcome to the show. I'm not even going to talk shit, but has Jalen Hurts cleared concussion protocol yet? Because I haven't heard anything.
No, he
He
has
still
not.
has not. Okay.
He has not yet.
That's my only concern coming into the playoff because I heard it's a minor injury to Love's elbow, correct? And he could play, but nothing's definite yet
Who's
for
that
Love.
for?
For Love.
So apparently he was okay yet on Sunday, and LaFleur said if he wanted to, I mean, he was gripping the ball good enough to go back out there, but he didn't want to put him back out there.
And I,
But he goes, he kept trying to warm up in the locker room at halftime, and LaFleur goes, I don't want you back out there, man. And
yeah, because
he goes, if Willis gets banged up again and Love wants to go back out there to play, he'll fight him to go out there,
right.
But I don't want to see another Watson situation, in a meaningless game.
Okie doo. I was a dock worker loading semis. I have a real colorful language. Yep, hurts. It could be a stunt, and I get that. But if it's not, it will be trouble for you. Is all I'm saying, Joey.
Yeah,
Um, if he's limited in practice, or even does a full practice before he's out of concussion protocol, because I know that all they have to do is put the red jersey on him, and he's not supposed to be touched. Uh, Harpazo, if they pass their concussion protocol, the minimum amount of time they can be on it
isn't
is
it like
4
4
days.
days?
4
Yeah,
days, because you get the concussion on Sunday, and you could be passed either by Wednesday evening, but you can't practice till the 4th day, which is Thursday. So Thursday is usually the day. And yes, I have said that about the Packers. Losing Watson was huge, and it looks like more than likely they lost him for all of next season as well, unless they
yeah,
make the playoffs. Correct, Kyle?
yeah. Unless he somehow rehabs crazy.
And we're not saying he can't, because these young
Right,
guys rehab like
right,
crazy all the time. Look at what's going on with Hutchinson.
right,
Doing doing full running in one of those wave recovery pools already.
right.
You know, if you'd have told
Well,
me that
if
on
you watch the Rogers documentary, you watch him 3 weeks later, swimming in a pool, walking around, working on that Achilles already. So anything's possible.
But, at the same time, the doctor did tell everybody, "Hey, there's no ligament, there's no nerve, there's no muscle damage with Hutchinson. Plus, the titanium rods are stronger than the bone. The chances of re-injury are down to less than 10% just 4 weeks in." That's what it was. Yep, torn ACL and partial meniscus tear. So it was not just the ligament.
Yeah,
It was the same illness that kept Terrion Arnold out a couple weeks ago, that kept Mahogany on the sideline a couple days this week. Um, it's that Norvo virus that runs through people by 2 or 3 days. He just had it come in later in the day. So why risk exposing the whole team and just leave him out? Sit your ass at home.
right.
And I think it's because they didn't want him infecting the whole locker room.
Yeah,
But he didn't go on the NFI list. He just went on the healthy scratch. Yeah, he has a long road ahead of him. And who's to say if it doesn't end up a career ender? Because didn't
right.
he have an ACL in college, like early in his career?
Who's that?
Christian Watson.
Yes, I believe
On,
so.
and COVID is still a thing as well. Right. But it 100% was an illness. And he missed like all week. I think they told Mosley, stay the fuck home.
Right,
I would. Yeah, they don't have anybody on offense with that speed unless they want to try to turn Eric Stokes into a wide receiver, and that guy can't catch a cold as a defensive back. I don't know how
right.
he'd do as a wide receiver, but
We're gonna
if
have
he was,
to we're gonna have to rely on Jaden Reed a lot.
and Jaden Reed has disappeared over the last 4 weeks.
Yes,
It's been redonkulous. Yeah, I think it's coming down to either Philly, and don't hate me for saying it. I think the only other of the lower seeds that has, I don't think it was the bird flu. No, but the only other team that I think has a shot to get through you guys is the same one that got through you guys last year. Is if Tampa Bay wins and they take you guys on.
Right.
I think that's your biggest competition because they've had your number the last couple of years. And that's not being a jerk. I know you guys got a great defense. I know you got a great offense, but Tampa Bay has had your number.
Right.
I think that's the only matchup that really, I don't think the Rams in Philly will do a lot. Green Bay will run the ball a lot using Jennings and Jacob and everybody else.
Jacob,
And 100% Harpazo, I don't want to see the Chiefs.
Manuel Wilson. That third string running back's coming along
Yeah, Marshawn
nicely.
Lloyd.
Brooks.
Oh, yeah, Brooks, the other kid. Yep. But there's that. Is it Marshawn Lloyd? Is that his name? The kid out of USC?
Are you muted?
I don't think so. Can you hear me?
Your voice went out.
Is that better? Hello, hello. Says it's working.
Huh.
I hear you.
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
I can't hear you at all.
Uh, log out, come back in.
Hold on.
Okay. Thank you, Queen Dwayne. I thought it was him. I saw his yeah, and KC's not guaranteed. I think it could come down to the Ravens or Bills, but they got to get past their first round opponent. And like I said, I think the only team that really gives a good fight, well, it's Tampa Bay. And I'm not trying to talk shit. I'm not trying to be mean. I don't think the Rams get that far. Their run defense is horrible, and every team in the playoffs can run the ball. I do agree with that. They the Seahawks stopped running the ball because they got behind. They ended up winning the game, but oh yeah, Bill T, you're right. He did learn it from Montgomery. Now he's having trouble getting connected. I think he had a connection issue. That's what it looked like to me. Yep. Tampa Bay's passing is their strength, and they got Mike Evans, and they have guys that are showing up. You know, the rookie Jaquan McMillan, I think it is. Is that the other guy that's been showing up for him? And Sterling Shepard. I mean, it's amazing. They've been pulling guys off the street to replace Chris Godwin, who's out for the year. Mike Evans was almost out for the year, but got a second opinion, just like David Montgomery, and was told, "Hey, if you rehab, you can come back and play." Yeah, but they have a tough road to hoe because if they win, let's say all the lower seeds win, all the 2, 3, 4 seeds win. That means it's Tampa Bay. Ah, here he is. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, Carrico called me, so maybe
Uh,
that's why I cut the volume off.
yeah. If you get a phone call, it does. It cuts at everything off.
I was just like, what the hell?
Yep. You know what? I agree and I disagree at the same time because we all say that if Jared Goff wasn't on this team, we'd be a X-win team, but defense has won this. I'm sick of the drama that comes along with playing the Rams. 100% hope you do. But that's who we'd get stuck with. as the 1 seed is we'd get stuck playing the 4.
I don't know about the MVP. Josh Allen. Josh
And
Allen will give you a run for his money.
but at the same time, if you look at what Lamar did as a quarterback this year, and yes, he
Right.
had Derrick Henry, but what he did as a quarterback was amazing.
Right.
Oh, if
I'm just.
Mahomes gets the MVP, that's 100% the one I'll throw up for Joey Uso. I'll give you that. Do you agree with that, Kyle? Because he was
I
awful this
I
season.
agree, but I feel I.
I I think I think the top 5 guys for me, you got Allen, you got Lamar, you've got Saquon, you got
yeah.
Goff, and you almost and Derrick Henry. I think those are the top 5. I
Right.
I really don't see, because after Sam Darnold looking like he did in week 18, can you throw him back in there? I don't think you
Yeah.
can you?
For Sam Darnold, I mean Darnold has played way better than anybody thought.
Oh, yeah, but I'm just saying, but after the performance on Sunday, he he just dropped down there where Pat Mahomes and the other
Yeah, but
oh,
that's
oh,
that's one game.
it may be one game, but I'm just saying it was a game in the biggest moment on a national stage, and we've all heard this throughout the years, like the year that Stafford lost on Monday night to you guys to have you win the division from us in 2011.
Right.
When that
I
happened,
can't.
when
I
that
can't.
happened, that took Matt Stafford, who had MVP numbers, one of the first QBs to throw over 4,000 yards and 50 touchdowns in a season. Remember that?
Yep.
Took him right out of the MVP
Right.
because of
I
that
can
play.
say. I can say that I think Jaden Daniels will win Rookie of the Year.
Red DeWitt, 65 today, and my mom said I was bouncing on Dad's knee watching the Lions. No wonder why the VA pays me for PTSD. That's awesome. Happy birthday, brother. I think Eagle made a mistake by sitting Saquon last weekend when he could have broken the rushing record. I know he only had, what was it, 103 yards to go.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little cold and heartless. But happy birthday to Brent.
Happy birthday, bro.
And how about the Cardinals just mollywopping the 49ers last week?
JP, what do you think about that? Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the year, I think it's going to come down to Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix, and I think you can
Right.
even throw Brian Thomas Jr. with the performance he had.
I definitely agree. That kid. That's the. Oh man, he's good.
Yeah, way better than I thought he was going to be. He started to fix the fact he was a body catching guy at LSU.
Right. He's an
So,
LSU boy, huh?
yep, go
Them
Gators.
LSU. Them
Guess who?
LSU boys know how to catch the ball.
Guess who was third in yardage this year
Who's that?
as a rookie? Malik Neighbors.
McConkey?
Malik
Oh,
Neighbors, the other LSU boy.
right. McConkey's pretty good too.
Oh, and happy birthday to Brent's wife. Wow, there's birthdays all over the place. My uncle, his birthday was the day we clinched the division on the 5th.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I do love Brock Bowers. I think he has a shot at it because he broke the rookie tight end record. But I just think that the rookie quarterbacks getting their teams in the playoffs, and I understand that's a team thing, but where are the Raiders at? I think that kind of puts them like fourth or fifth. If
Right.
they'd have made it all the way to the playoffs, Brock Bowers would have hands down been the offensive rookie of the year. Do
Right.
you disagree with that take there, Kyle?
No, not at all.
And also, he didn't break the one record that Sam Laporta still has.
Bowers is going to be a problem though.
Let me type it in the. Are you watching through my kneecap biting page, Joey Uso? If so, I'll put my email in here. That way, you got it. There it is. I also have a link I want to add, and this takes you right to my articles at the South Florida Tribune there. If you scan that QR code, whether you're watching on your TV, and then that way you can email me to talk about when
Right.
that is that you want to do it. If it comes down the NFC Championship game. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m., I do have my NFL Roundtable Talks, and if you want to talk playoff football with Joey Uso, send me an email, and I'll have yours, and I can invite you to be on that show. It's at 9 p.m., and we go anywhere from an hour to 2 hours because there's nobody that follows me on the Roku app. Because
Right.
we actually go live into Roku and Amazon. We go live on Twitter. We go live on Facebook and live on
And
YouTube.
that's at 9 o'clock tomorrow night.
9 o'clock tomorrow night Eastern, yes.
Can you send
So,
me the Can you send
oh,
me the link when you
about
get that out?
8:30, quarter to. I'll
Yeah.
send it for you.
Yeah, because I'll get done with work about that time, so it'll be perfect time for when I get home. We can jump on.
Good deal. I love having other fans. I had Mike Fujimoto, the Eagles fan, on last week on the Wednesday show, and he had a
Uh huh.
blast. I
Oh
treat
yeah.
everybody with the same respect. I'm not here to be a shit talker. I'm here to talk
No.
football. Kyle, how you feeling
Uh,
about college football and football
my
out of town?
from a kid being from Green Bay, and that's all we know. We're not much into college football. A lot of people in Green Bay are just not. We're not college guys.
And
Just
he goes, I have Notre Dame versus Texas in the championship game. Don't get me wrong. Oregon was great, but Gabriel ain't ready for the NFL. I don't think
I don't.
any of these. Thank you, Joey. I love it. I love it when we sub to each other's podcasts. It is a love of the game, and that's what that show is for. I, you know, do I make bets with the other team? We do the background bet. 100%. We do that when our teams face each other, even on my show. And then for my show, you got to take a background. The Vikings have to use this one the next show.
Yeah, that's all right. We're
and,
gonna do that
and
team next year.
and Kitty Ken, even though I got an actual AI for him, he had to use this one as his background after
Yeah,
that second loss. You know, I make it fun. At least I'm not up here showing something absolutely asinine. Like Kitty
right.
Ken.
Yeah, that's the real Ken.
as a as a Pennsylvanian, I get so much flack for being an Ohio State fan in the middle of Penn State. You know what? I love you, brother, but man, Ohio State, really? No, they're doing great in the playoffs. They just can't beat Michigan. Just gotta say it. Yeah. Oh my gosh, show that again. It's awesome. Or did you mean the Vikings one? This one.
That one.
Hey, I'm a Michigan State fan. My dad graduated from MSU in 1957. Hokey dude, that's awesome. You know what? And I don't hate Michigan State. I'm not like one of those Michigan fans. The only time my love of Michigan teams stops is if they face the University of Michigan. Then you're my enemy for a week.
Right.
Michigan is my actual pick to win the championship. Oh, this coming up year, you must mean, because this year we weren't getting there. LOL for the skull. Hey, by the way, I did figure out what that skull chant actually means.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah. That
saying
sounds
score,
about.
but with the cock in your mouth.
Yeah.
And when Caleb Williams lost to the Lions on Thanksgiving, with that being the first time they won since 2017 when they beat the Minnesota Vikings, we gave him the cob.
That's great.
And that's what this show's about. I like being funny. I don't like
Right.
to be mean. I don't like to be because I've been paid. But man, it hurts me to say this because you guys did get third place in the division, but the fact that both these teams had the same divisional record hurts my soul. The Bears and the Packers were both 1-5.
Right.
I, I same
Yeah,
here,
it's hard
JB.
to
I live in Toledo. I can't
it's
stand the
hard to think
Buckeyes.
about.
Yeah, but this meme was put out at week 15. Is that not exactly what happened this season? The
Yeah.
Bears shot themselves in the foot. The Vikings cut the Packers off when they beat them the second time, and the
Yep.
Lions said "fuck you" to everybody and just stayed on the tree.
Right. Mm.
Oh, I don't think Caleb will transfer to the NFL. I will not transfer to the NFL. I get that he doesn't have much support, but a lot of decisions that he makes are questionable. 100%. But you can say he's the best rookie quarterback that the Chicago Bears have ever drafted. And the proof is the fact he had over 3,000 yards and 20 touchdowns and only, what was it, 9 picks this year? Or was it six? 6 picks.
Yeah.
That's astronomical numbers. You know what the bad part is about it? Oh, Rodriguez, he tore his ACL when he came in to start for Anzalone the very next week. Anzalone got hurt with the Jags, and I believe he got hurt versus the Bears. He'll be back next season. He has another year left on his contract. I really like Malcolm Rodriguez. I bought his jersey. Uh, I said, if this kid starts, because I'm watching Hard Knocks, I'm buying his
Right.
jersey. I'm one of those guys. You start, and you weren't supposed to, like a fifth, sixth, or seventh round pick, I'm buying your jersey. That's all there is to it.
Right.
And it's a damn shame with it being his ACL. He can't come back for the playoffs. Not when it was that late in the season. He goes, "Yep, that's him. I knew he was going to be good when they did the Hard Knocks on you guys 2 years ago." Yeah, Calvin Shepard. The things he said about him. He goes, "You guys don't want your job? That rookie's going to take it. He's outplaying every single fucking one of you." That was when I
Mm.
fell in love with Rodriguez.
Right.
Because he was a late round pick. He was picked in the sixth round, right after we picked James Houston. And I do a draft show every year where I go live. I do my projections. I try to call out who's the pick before they come out. It makes it more fun that way.
Right.
Um, whether I'm hoping I'm in Green Bay, like we talked about, Kyle, but I got to come
Yep.
up with some money first. But if not,
Right.
I'll be doing it from home, and we can do it that way too.
Right.
Kevin goes, "I remember Rodrigo on Hard Knocks." Bill T says, "I'm predicting the Lions Super Bowl will be Lions versus Bills. If they'd have played better the last 3 weeks after they played the Lions, I would have said the same thing. But the fact that they kind of fell asleep, um, I don't know if they get past the Broncos in the first round. If they do, then yes, I think they go. But if they don't get past the Broncos, eh, I'm not losing faith in Josh Allen. I'm losing faith in that defense. Does that make
Right.
sense? Because Josh Allen and the offense are doing what they can, but to lose to the Pats in back-to-back weeks, that's awful.
Right.
And what was funny is everybody else the week when the Pats won, everybody else won, so they actually still had the first pick overall.
Right.
But it is time. We've been on almost 2 hours for me to talk about my sponsor, which is Brandon Service at the corner of South Grand Traverse and West Atherton Road, 602 West Atherton Road in Flint. where the water's shit, but the tires are good. Stop in and check them out. Used tires starting at $45 and up, depending on size and condition. New tires, call to get your quote. They are delivered within 1 to 2 business days. 810-233-8230. Talk to George or Red. If you mention this ad, you get $25 off a new set of tires, $10 off a used set of tires.
In the van.
In the- yeah, at least it's a maroon van. If it was the white van, I wouldn't be able to post that picture. I just would have to talk about that place. Thank God it only thing white on it are the two side doors.
Right. I'm gonna make that every time I jump on the show and you show that ad. You gotta make sure you bring up that van.
Oh yeah, the van will be on.
Yeah,
That's the
right.
picture I use. I'm working on getting another place, an automotive place out of Midland, Michigan, which is about an hour north of us. But they've been in business 2 years and they're a good mechanic shop. So I'm working on them as well.
Right.
I'm just trying to put something together that's professional. A good
Right.
picture with the logo and all that good stuff.
Right.
How much for the black van with a white door? Yeah, we are seeing a turn of power in the NFL where it comes from AFC power teams to NFC. If you look at our top 3 or 4 teams record wise, the defenses seem to be ranked much better in the NFL. Um, the Ravens have a good defense, but I think it's been mostly smoke and mirrors. They've been beating up on some bad teams and losing to some good teams. Uh,
Right.
Chiefs, they fell apart, even though they had their backups in to let the Denver Broncos throw up 38, and they did that to keep Cincinnati out of the playoffs. Because in the playoffs, Joe Burrow gives Pat Mahomes PTSD.
Right.
So I think they did that on purpose. They were like, man, if Cincinnati wins, it doesn't matter what Miami does. They're in. We got to let Denver win. They can't win the division. It's not gonna do anything for their seeding, but it keeps Cincinnati out.
Right.
That's playing chess. That's a chess type of move.
Right.
And everybody said, "Oh, Dan Campbell's got his team playing in a meaningless game at San Francisco." There was nothing meaningless against them. Uh, Nothing meaningless about that game. Not when you were talking about the number one seed. And the fact that we went through the last 2 weeks healthy with minor injuries, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, Cincinnati was a letdown this year, but at the same time, they started the season the same way. If Bo Nix upsets Patrick Mahomes, I will have a heart attack, but I can see it happening. They they lost on a blocked field goal the last time Mahomes faced Denver. Let's think about that. Denver lost on a blocked field goal.
Right.
Think how close the Chicago was from being 4-2 in the division.
Right.
They lost a bad game to Minnesota and a bad game to Detroit, but all 4 of the other games were all really close. A field goal to Detroit, a blocked field goal for a 2-point loss to Green Bay, a
Yep.
overtime field goal loss to Minnesota, and then they got by you this time on a last second field goal for 2 points, right?
Yep.
That's how close they were from being 4-2. And that's a testament to how good Caleb played, because Caleb is one of 2 quarterbacks that had multiple touchdowns versus the Lions defense. Yeah, Bo Nix is a little small, but you know what? The guy's a gamer. Yes, he just turned 26 years old. You know who just turned 26 years old this year too? Hendon Hooker. That's all we heard about him. Oh, he's so old, he's going to retire before he ever gets out of his rookie contract.
Right.
If they're in college that long, especially ones that I think when Bo Nix first started and he transferred the first time, he had to wait a year before the rules changed. So that was 3 years of eligibility right there. The one he wasn't eligible. And then he played, and he went to another school, and then he had another head coach, and then he had every year a different offensive coordinator. So he had to adjust to a new playbook every year, and every year statistically he got better. So yeah, he's a little bigger than Drew Brees. Oh yeah, Cincinnati's defense was absolutely horrid, and that's the reason why it took them so long to get
Well,
going.
not only that, they don't have a run game.
And their run game's non-existent. They should have never let Joe Mixon walk out the building. You saw what he did for the Texans offense. If it wasn't for Joe Mixon, they're
Yeah,
probably not
but
in the playoffs.
JB, did you notice the last 4 weeks of Mixon's games? They
Yeah,
were almost nothing.
but at the same time, I'm right though. And Jalen
Right.
Hurts just turned 26, but you're talking about a rookie at 26 versus somebody that came out of college early and played in the NFL, playing more games. Is what I'm getting at, Joey Uso. Um, he's played less games. He's got less miles, less wear and tear on his body. Um, let's face it, Oregon's been a good team and in the playoffs the last what 3 seasons.
Right.
So he had 12 games that or 13 games that year and 12 games the year before that because they went out in the first round of the playoffs. So he actually doesn't have a lot of mileage on him that a lot of guys have coming out of college because they were spaced out. Yeah, Texans losing Tank Dell was huge. It's a damn shame about him. And that might be a
Yeah.
career ender with all the damage he took to his knee.
Yep. I have a bad feeling it's career ending.
And we'll see. If he's able to come back by Thanksgiving next year, it's a miracle.
Yeah.
Oregon has always been a sneaky team. Yeah, I mean, they're always up there. They play people tough in the bowl games when they're not in the playoffs. They play semi-tough in the playoffs. But, this bye week for the top 4 seeds, it just goes to show you I said what I said when I saw it for the playoff bracket, that it was stupid. Every single one of them got housed in the first quarter, was down 14 to 16 points. Just too many bye weeks. Yes, absolutely. I see the Tank Dell video. It was almost as bad as that Giovanni Bernard injury. Yes, yes, yes. Peyton was very impressed with Nick's ability to learn the playbook almost overnight. 100%. And that's what I was getting at by learning a new playbook every year. That's where he's able to adapt in the NFL faster than most quarterbacks as a rookie. But thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a wonderful show. Thank you, Kyle, for being here. I hope
Thank
to see
you.
Wings and Cheese on the air soon. But try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. I'll see you at noon on Wednesday. And again for the NFL Roundtable Talk